Wait a second. I also have you guys muted here. Something's wrong. It might be my fault, but I don't understand it. Come on. Okay, something's wrong. It's just I don't even know if it's well, yeah, something's wrong, and I'm not sure what yet. Can you guys hear? Say something again, guys. Yeah, you're both really quiet actually. But when oh man, I don't know what to do here because for some reason this is not affecting what's going to my headphones, which is really weird. Yeah, keep talking, guys. You too. We are on the internet. Keep talking for me, guys. Trying to check. Trivia. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Um I'm not sure what's wrong here. I don't It's really weird what's happening over here. Sorry guys. I don't know what is going on. Cuz like you're not coming in through this you're not coming through the Apollo Twin, but I can hear you, which means you're coming out of the Apollo Twin, but that doesn't even make sense. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. And in OBS, you're barely being registered. So I could try something like this. Check, check, check. Check.
SWB audio capture, not registered.
I don't know that we'll need to play it up really, especially if this takes another minute because this is ridiculous. I'm sorry, guys. This sucks. Well, yeah, apparently. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off and turn it back on, and so you guys won't hear anything for a second, and see if that fixes the issue. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's check, check, check. Okay, I have an idea. External mic headphones. Okay.
Oh, before I forget, am I recording this thing separately too?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And I've fixed the problem. Yay.
Hot diggity damn.
So it wasn't Jeff's fault?
I mean, everything's Jeff's fault. We all know that.
More.
Okay.
Okay,
What?
we're set. And yeah, we're
What was it? I
uh
need to know.
no, what it was the Zoom settings were actually set to go out to that weird third-party app instead of going out to
Oh,
the
okay.
external headphones, so they weren't being run through directly through my
Oh, gotcha.
my Universal Audio. It was from a few weeks ago when we tried that other setup, I guess. But that's
I
weird.
understand what
'Cause I
what
just-
you're talking about.
I guess I haven't streamed since then.
SWB audio capture,
Have you not?
not registered.
Not since Wednesday. I guess that's right.
Was it Wednesday?
That's right. I was chatting with Haley on Monday, and at 9 o'clock, we're like, "Oh crap! Was there a live stream tonight that we totally forgot about?" Like, I didn't see an email, so I guess not.
Nah.
I figure since everything we're doubling up everything on Wednesday, it's sort of just like we wanted to get you guys a little bit of rest.
Yeah, we're still gonna do Mondays, but since we already did our cast last week, and then we've got Wednesdays this week starting, and it's gonna be a pretty intense couple weeks, 6 weeks of Wednesdays and Mondays. We took this Monday off. Check.
Mondays.
Okay, I am all set. Are you guys ready to record? We're just going to dive right in and go into this. There's not really any structure. We're just going to talk about Loki for a few minutes. Really going to try to keep it to around 15 minutes because it is already 3:50 or 3:12 in the morning.
Mhm.
I'm going to...
So you're saying it's already 3:12 in the hey. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be great, you guys.
Yeah, let's do this for 6 weeks. How about
shit.
that?
I'm all decked up on Mountain Dew.
We'll give it to you
I mean,
like a
literally.
spider monkey. Okay.
Chip.
Whichever Jesus you want. Baby Jesus is my favorite.
Oh man.
That little
Oh,
kid is
fuck.
from Alabama, and his dad owns like a car dealership, and so they use him for all their promotional stuff.
Fox wants to know if we're taking questions or is that saved for the one tomorrow?
We will
Save
probably
it.
I'd love to if you got a few, type them in, tag at Stranded Panda, and we'll try to grab a couple.
BVK's doing the producer thing, right?
SWB
Kinda. I
audio
don't want to
capture,
stress
not
BBK out because
registered.
it's also his first time on the MCU cast, so I don't want him to feel like he has to like be a part of the conversation and watch that. So we won't be able to watch this closely because we don't have a dedicated producer just for that. But we will try to grab a few of those. For that. But
Yeah.
so tag us. I'll be
do it.
looking for that.
Yeah.
Guys, 18 of y'all, thank you for joining us in so early in the morning. Let's get started.
Yeah.
We're doing a short
Record.
cast here. Check. Hitting record on my end.
Check.
Man, my
Got mine.
system.
All right, so don't scream. Apparently, according to my levels. Don't scream.
That's as good
Check.
advice anytime. It's probably gonna come really
Yeah,
loud.
In general.
Yeah,
Gotta
normally
save your throat.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
I feel like my microphone is very in front of my face on the video, but it's where it needs to be. So, oh well.
I'm okay.
Before we start,
All right. No.
Before we start, let me vomit.
Save it for the cast.
save the vomit for the cast. Okay, here we go, guys. Like I said, tag us for any thoughts at Stranded Panda TV, and we will try to read a few of those at the end. And I'm going. We're recording. You guys recording?
yeah,
Can everybody hear us okay out there in Twitch land? Also
Apparently
YouTube.
Jeff is very
We're on
quiet.
YouTube as well.
it's early. We're all quiet.
Let me
Your
see
mom
what's
was
going on over there.
quiet.
If you at us at Stranded Panda on YouTube, and I'll try to keep an eye on that as well for the ending over there. If you
Okay.
okay, here we go. Welcome, YouTube folks. All right, go for it, Jeff. Whenever you're ready.
Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we just watched Loki, you guys. The first
my
one
gosh.
came out. It's really freaking late.
SWB
gosh.
audio
Really?
capture, not
It's
registered.
3:15 in the
We're gonna
morning.
Talk about it. This is Late Night Loki.
No rules, just right. Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, that's our slogan that we just came up with. That's the new slogan for Loki, Late Night Loki.
Good night, Loki. No rules, just
All that references that we have no control over.
I guess we really don't have to play up the fact that we're all slapped.
No, I told you we didn't have to play it up.
Oh,
It's just gonna
geez.
be slappy. Okay, here we go.
oh, it's great. It's so good.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll,
I think I'm still Jeff Randall.
and in our third chair today, we have our good friend and long-time listener and supporter and good friend of the cast, Brian V. Klein. How you doing, Brian?
I am doing very well. Glad to be here. Glad to talk about this, and hopefully I can keep a straight mind for this whole conversation.
Also, I apologize for calling you Brian. I only ever call you BVK, and it felt weird coming out of my mouth.
It felt weird.
It felt weird.
You got to, I was to say, you got to get the introduction out, and then you got to say the name or the BBK, and then that's fine from there. So
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's get directly into this because we're not going to spend too long because it's 3:15 in the morning and we are just slap happy and whatever. It's tired as hell, but we wanted to get our thoughts out immediately. So, what did you guys think of the first episode of Loki?
I said like mid because we did the watch along scener party or whatever. And join us on scener.com/strandedpanda if you want to join in at 2 a.m. Central Time.
SWB audio
I
capture,
said in the-
not
in the chat
registered.
there, like while Hiddleston was emoting with his amazing face, that man is so just damn good.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good. And this
Yeah.
show is so like this show is an extension of him, and it's a reflection of the immense amount of talent that has come into the MCU on both sides of the camera, in front, behind, like everything in this show was just incredible. And honestly, I gotta say, I saw Owen Wilson at his best in this episode.
I could agree with that. The dialogue back and forth between Mobius and Loki during that flashback, this is your life sequence was just incredible. I mean, that got me. I'm like, I can't believe how good that was. That was a good 15-minute scene where they were just explaining the whole thing, and holy cow! Especially when Loki started seeing his future that hadn't happened yet. Like you were saying, Tom Hiddleston's just his facial acting was incredible. Not that we expect anything less.
I totally agree. That scene, I saw a review pop up in my feed this afternoon, and it said, after a really talky start, or really exposition heavy talky start, Loki hits the ground running, and I was like, oh, an exposition heavy talky start. That's exactly what I want from this show. Like, I really wanted all those timekeeper conversations and all that stuff. It was so cool. Yeah. And but the character
establish the rules, right?
Establish the rules. Exactly. Let me know what exists in this world, what is going on. And what is going on, by the way, is huge. The idea that there was a multiverse war at some point, and that they collapse the timeline down to a single timeline, and now this TVA is destroying timelines. These reset charges that they keep casually doing, they're destroying those timelines. There was a moment where he looks at this child and he goes,
trimming branches,
branches, and the pruning they call it. And he sent the kid outside the church, and he looked like he was giving him like a friendly face, like smiling at him, knowing he's sending him into oblivion. And you could tell Owen Wilson, there's a glitter of questioning what he's doing. You know what I mean? He's looking at this little kid. He's like, I know I'm supposed to do this thing, but this is kind of a sad thing I'm doing, sending this kid out into oblivion. And there's a lot going on there. But seeing Loki's reaction to all of this, and this guy who always feels like he's in control, always thinks he's going to get the upper hand, being utterly powerless, and the Infinity Stones in the desk, man, it's amazing, man. It's so good.
Yep.
I mean, that was the whole gotcha moment.
I love when
Yeah.
I love when Pillboy, or what was his name?
Casey.
I can't remember his name. It's
Casey, yeah. I
Pillboy.
said Pillboy too, and I'm like, where's Mendoza?
from a Good Place, right? That's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny that they got guys from the Good Place, because this kind of had like heaven vibes from the Good Place, like the bureaucracy of heaven.
It really did.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, when they look in the box and Loki's just like Infinity Stones, and there's like multiples of each color in there, and they're all just casually hanging out, and he's just like, yeah, we get a ton of those. Like, some of the guys use them as paperweights on their desk. Like, you what?
Yeah.
Do what?
The mind-blowingness of like,
Because the Infinity Stones, as far as we know it, the Infinity Stones are like the single most powerful things in the verse. And we're in this place where those Infinity Stones mean nothing.
yeah,
Absolutely nothing.
they're just another power from universes that this organization is just playing God on a multiversal level. And
Yep.
I can't imagine that this series is going to end with the TVA still in place, especially with the call outs we got for like the fact that they're like, if we let this happen, madness will ensue. Like,
Yeah.
that's
And they're talking
multiverse of
about
madness.
Multiverse
Yeah.
and madness. Like, it's absolutely leading into Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we all talked a ton about how WandaVision was leading to Doctor Strange. I did not realize how much this was directly setting up the world that Doctor Strange will play in. You know, this is setting the stage for what Doctor Strange will be. I'm so excited, guys.
It's all connected. Come on.
Yeah.
Truly. Truly.
Connected. Give me more. Say it again. Say it again. I'm ready.
It's all connected.
It is actually all connected.
Oh God, let's get Tara Strong to say it. Tara Strong as the voice of that little cartoon was the best. Oh my God, I love her so
Was
much.
it Miss Minutes? Yeah,
Oh.
that whole scene with
Yeah.
between that and the old like 50s style blood flows right on the highway type, instructional video was just, there was just so many good things like that. It was, like you were saying earlier, I love how they set up where anything that you could question, like when they were talking about the TVA, they're like, well, the Avengers did it. And then they brought up, well, the Avengers were supposed to do it. So they were setting the rules and then also fixing sort of loopholes that people had in their mind. So
Right. So everything that's happened up till now, the space lizards wanted it to happen, which to me, it brings in all these questions.
The 3 space lizards.
To me, that just brings up these like, why? Why do they want the things that have happened to happen? Because to me, it was a time war, right? Like, war is inherently about the
Makes me
winner.
think Secret Wars.
Sure. But to me, war is always about the winner writing the history of what happened. Like, they won the war, now they get to tell the story. So they're telling the story of this sacred timeline, right? But that's not how all these other universes that they're going around destroying and like literally just like blinking out of existence, universe after universe, pruning them, creating the sacred timeline. This is a cult of these like weird space lizards, and they have been in control for who knows how long. If time means anything, like, it's crazy. I'm so excited to see the space lizards go down and madness to ensue.
Are they just gonna keep calling them space lizards?
I mean, I
They're not
am.
timekeepers, they're space lizards.
The
The thing that I keep thinking about that they kept hitting on it in the episode without like directly like in the face saying like, Loki, you are a hypocrite. He was talking about like, I was going to remove the choice for them. I was going to remove freedom, and like as he's talking about just ruling everybody and being the person that makes all the decisions, he's also saying like, I make my own choices, I am the master of my own destiny. But then somebody else is making all of his decisions for him, saying this is how you're supposed to live your life, you were on the path that was set for you. And he's like, no, I make my own rules. But then he also wants to be the guy that makes rules for other smaller people. And like, it just shows that he's just another wheel in the time machine.
Mm-hmm. No rules, just wrong, Loki. No rules, just wrong.
Are we gonna take that to like all the way through this?
Come on, it's a 10-minute ago callback. It's not like I brought it back from weeks ago.
I think us as MCU fans should realize how callbacks work, though. So
Yeah.
God, there were so many in this freaking episode.
There were a lot.
I got real excited there for a second.
There were tons of callbacks, but also tons of references and interesting little weird things. I'm just excited. I meant to bring this up earlier. We were talking about the Infinity Stones. I don't mean to jump back because I know we're on a time crunch here, but the Infinity Stones in the disc, I love that it wasn't just 6 Infinity Stones. Because of the multiverse, it's like just a sprinkling of Infinity Stones, like 6 time stones and like 2 mind stones and 4 ethers. Like, it's just like, that's so weird and fun. And like, there's no symmetry to this show. It's just like bureaucracy and weirdness and like this sort of mundane. And I think it's sort of the like evil of mundanity. Like, because these guys are definitely genociding. I think that's a word.
I was just thinking mundanity. I read it through my head. Like,
right.
It's too early for me to think like that.
The evil of the mundane. The evil of the mundane. Like, they're just going around. And maybe I'm jumping ahead. Maybe we're not really supposed to see it this way yet. But I'm absolutely seeing this as like the space lizards are having them genocide universe after universe after universe. They're just destroying anyone that doesn't fit into their timeline, because if they allow multiverse to exist, their universe might be questioned. And why do the timekeepers care about this universe? And the only thing I can imagine is sort of like a Kang type situation where you have like a timeline leads somewhere, right? Like, so at the end of this timeline, I'm assuming this timeline is what leads to the timekeepers. Like, the timekeepers are probably like, they need this timeline to exist for some reason, right?
Like it's a prime timeline or something like that.
Or no,
like
it's the timeline that made the timekeepers exist, right? Like, so if let's say 30 million years from now, the timekeepers come into existence, whoever they are, and then they participate in the multiversal wars, and then they want obviously their origins to exist so that they exist, so there's not a paradox. So they trim all other branches, and they are the winners of the time war, and they're just surviving in their own timeline. I don't know. That's the way I'm seeing it.
All these branch realities, all this that's happening with Loki being the one that they're hunting.
Yeah.
All of this. This is my theory. This is my episode 1 theory. Here we go. This is my Mephisto. All of this is
which, by the way, was referenced. I think, I don't know if that was planned like that.
Yes,
but...
it was. Yes, it was.
I definitely think
my Mephisto. The multiverse, or rather the branch timelines that we're seeing because of the Loki variant. All of this is supposed to happen to lead to a multiverse war, to lead to the timekeepers doing the thing, and it's all just a big loop going over and over again.
Ooh, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, this is what starts the multiverse war that will... Yeah, that's interesting.
End it and reset it.
That's kind of a linear way of thinking, though, like a loopy linear way of thinking. But like, they exist outside of that timeline, or outside of the multiverse.
Yeah,
even
they're
the
just
TV.
watching it go around.
Yeah, interesting.
That's the thing. Like when Loki asked the judge, the whatever her role is, we didn't even hear her name. When he asked
judge,
where are the timekeepers, and she was like, well, they're making sure the timeline, or they're dictating the timeline.
Yeah.
Like, but what do you do? Like, no, don't just gloss over that. Like, I need to know where they are. I need to know that they have an office in this crazy infrastructure here where there's like flying cars and crap. Like, I only saw like 3 or 4 rooms in this gigantic facility.
Right. I definitely got Oz vibes from that, right? Especially, he talks about it being, this is all an illusion. What if it is? What if he's right? You know what I mean? Like, what if don't look at the space lizards behind the curtain? You know what I mean? Like, something is going on deeper than what he sees. He obviously, like, I feel like Loki, from the sheer power of the TVA, is being brought into line to sort of start serving the timekeepers. But I don't think he will stay there. Just like Owen Wilson said, he's like, you don't do things for people, or I forget what the line was. It was like something like, I don't do things for, I don't need to like gain anyone's trust or something like that. And he's like, even when you're just gaining their trust to
Collaboration.
Oh yeah, I don't collaborate.
Not
And
really
he's-
my forte.
And he's like, not even when you're gaining someone's trust so you can later betray them. And I think they are spelling out what this show is going to be about. Now, you're talking about time loops and things that will lead to this. I think the opposite is likely. I think it is likely that this time variant of Loki might be the very one he's later going to fight. Like the one that we're seeing, like this variant of Loki might end up looping back on himself and fighting himself throughout this series.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I love time travel. Matthew S. Fox has got to be freaking out right now.
Now let me ask you this. And I don't know if it was just the way that it was shot, but at the end when they do the scene where you find out that it's the variant the variant they're going after is Loki, and he sets the field on fire. They still have that figure in the distance, but then someone grabs the reset thing. So is he working with someone, or is it just the shot where it was him and then he went?
I think that
I
is.
feel like it's implied that he just walks up and grabs it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. I would say because the shot was really quick, and again, it was really early.
And they said he's stealing those. Like he's going around stealing those reset buttons.
right.
So what is he going to do
He's
with a bunch
taking
of
those.
reset buttons?
He's gonna go to the TVA headquarters and set them all off, collapse the TVA.
Right. If the TVA exists in a timeline where that's possible, I think the TVA is in
That's
the
why he
quantum.
needs a bunch of them.
I think the TVA is in the quantum realm.
You think the TVA what?
I think the TVA is in the quantum realm. I think it's very possible the TVA is the city that we saw in Ant-Man. It actually kind of looked like it. When we saw the outside, and we saw the structures. It kind of looked a little like that that shot from Ant-Man where you see the city in the quantum realm, and just a little bit like I could see that the architecture could be similar, but also there's a line said twice in the MCU. Time moves differently there. That's said about two things: the TVA and the quantum realm.
Quantum realm.
Yeah. Like it makes me think.
I picked that up, and I also, speaking of the TVA, I like their future retro deco they have, where it's like this old ass 70s looking thing, but then it's a time projector hologram thing.
I
was
love
just
the
like-
aesthetic. I love the aesthetic. Okay, we have got to get off of
it
here.
reminds me a lot of the Umbrella Academy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. We have got to shut it down because it's already 3:30 in the morning. But real quick, let's run down some of these ones we got tagged in. Ethical Panda says, "Who is Matthew West Fox?" Sorry, Matthew Fox. I'm sorry. I will always mess that up. I'll do my best. You have to go back in time and find that chump. All right. Sorry about that. Matthew Fox. Let's see.
We'll talk to the TVA about it.
I like this question. I just like this question. Let's see. C. Groschel?
I'm glad you tried to say that because I saw that and I'm like, someone else can take that name.
He says, so is the multiverse many universes on one timeline or many timelines, each with its own universe? Hope that makes sense. I think the multiverse is right there in the name. I think it's multiple universes. So they're not writing over one universe.
Also have their own.
Yeah.
They also have their own timeline, though.
Well, no, he said
Like relative to them.
the question is it the question supposes there are multiple timelines, but he says that is it one universe or multiple universes? So yes, it's definitely multiple timelines and it's multiple universes.
It's definitely one of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And no.
The answer is it's multiple universes. It's in the name. It's multiverse. Let's see here. We got a couple more. Because if it's one timeline, it would be rewriting itself, which it's not doing. It's creating multiple universes. So that it would be the version of Back to the Future where it goes back and they change the timeline they're actually on, which is bullshit. We know that from Endgame. Back to the Future is canonically bullshit.
I'll hold the phone there, champ.
CJ Hunt says, "What was the line about nightmares? It sounded like they were hinting at the nightmare realm." I absolutely think they're hinting at a comics version of the nightmare realm. Yeah.
Yeah, he said this place is a nightmare, and he's like, "Nah, it's a different department."
Yeah.
Oh, that one will help you burn down. I was like, "Oh shit!"
And it has to directly mean that because you know the MCU doesn't like trolling people, so it's direct in what they say. That's
yeah, that
it
means
is.
that there's gonna be nightmare is gonna come up somewhere in like Doctor Strange 4, and they called their shot here.
Right.
And,
Nightmare confirmed.
I mean, really,
All right.
it's like no, nightmare works for Mephisto, obviously. So
Who was confirmed in this episode?
Yeah. Yep. They're all confirmed.
Yeah, obviously.
Everyone's confirmed.
One of the thing. This is me making.
No,
connections.
that's
what
DC,
these
right?
figures are. No.
Oh, that's man.
Shots
thing, right?
fired.
E.T. Ouch. The gum, the blue teeth thing in
Right.
France. In,
Kablooey.
Way back when?
Kablooey.
Kablooey.
Yep. Sounds like he's blowing something up.
Kablooey. That's what bombs do, right?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
why he's getting all those charges. He planted that so that Owen Wilson Mobius would find it. Owen Wilson Mobius is not his name. Mobius is his name. Remembered it halfway through.
Owen Mobius Wilson. That's his full name.
Owen Mobius Wilson, as he's been known throughout the years.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was a plant so that Mobius would find that, and it's like it's calling his shot. He's pointing at the fence, just like, all right, I'm gonna blow you up.
All right, that's
Here it
possible.
comes.
That's possible. I definitely think that he's. I mean, we've seen
Confirmed.
it. We saw very little in the trailers that we didn't see in this first episode, but one of the few things we did see in trailers, I guess spoiler alert for trailer things, is someone fighting at the TVA. So they're coming for the TVA. By the way, a lot of the things we broke down in the trailer were very much correct. Like we even we speculated about him watching his mom die. We speculated about all that stuff, and we were very much on target. Ethical.
Watching himself die.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Watching him sacrifice himself, watching him fight alongside his brother, and that, it was everything we were asking for, basically. It was great. The Ethical Panda says, at Stranded Panda TV and at Brian V. Klein, so we know that the Ancient One was tasked with protecting the timeline. Was she working with, or at least aware of the TVA, is strange. The way they talked about the multiverse and how it would be madness makes me think that must have tied into the Strange movies. It's interesting. It's really interesting because in this, it's basically saying these guys don't allow multiple timelines to exist. And given what we saw in Endgame, I mean, literally, this is a result of Endgame. This timeline that he disappears from is where they go to set that charge, right? Am I wrong? So, like, this is the same city. Like, this Loki uses the space stone, so he moved somewhere in that same universe, and he went to the wrong time. I didn't realize the space stone had that ability, but apparently it does. So he jumped to a different time. He's in Mongolia, right? He's in a different time in Mongolia.
No.
Isn't that where he was in the beginning? It said Mongolia?
Yeah, the
I mean,
desert.
it was Mongolia. It was the Gobi Desert, but it was the same year.
Was it the same year?
Like, it was still 2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was back in time. Okay, so he's just a time variant. Anyway, that Ancient One that talked about the time stone and said bring back the time stone, that's the same one they just murked, right? Like, they just destroyed her timeline. She talked about protecting her timeline. They just went there and hit that reset charge. That was destroying her timeline. So I'm assuming all three timelines they went back to and created in the alternate versions, maybe 4 or 5 actually, were destroyed by the TVA.
Well, the Avengers were supposed to go back.
Yeah.
The Avengers were supposed to go back, and then Cap was supposed to go back and put the stones back. So
True.
theoretically, those timelines should not have been trimmed because they branched and then came immediately back. It seems like there's a threshold for a branch timeline to exist because the guy said like we're about to hit red line, like it's approaching red line.
I
It
just
looks like it goes too far away from the divine timeline. So like
well see
that amount of time where the stone was gone for Cap to bring it back is where it was inside the red line.
no,
my
I disagree.
understanding.
I disagree because
Well, you're wrong.
no, I'm definitely right because of two things.
Get out of
They
here.
say in the show,
Bye.
they say in the show whether you cause a revolution or you miss a day of work. They say that in the little video. So if you make any change to the timeline that is not supposed to happen, they trim you. And they're acting like they're just trimming a person, but it seems to me they're trimming the entire branch. So
Yeah,
while
the whole timeline.
while those timelines would have to exist for a moment or for the moments for the Avengers to go back and retrieve the stones, those timelines would not have to continue existing to protect the sacred timeline. And so I'm assuming they trimmed those branches.
So like Cap goes back, puts the stone back, and they're like, "Cool, still broke it."
Yep,
Bye.
exactly. Like that timeline is now gone.
What was it? It's like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine thing where he's like, "Cool motive, still murder."
Yeah. Well, wasn't it safe to assume that they said, like you were just mentioning at Endgame, when Cap went back, he was literally coming back at the same time almost? Like it was like that the stones were never gone. So he was coming back, and so that
Yeah.
technically would never have happened. Like it wouldn't have needed to. Plus, it also
Right.
was supposed to happen.
Right, but they still made changes to the timeline. I mean, the major ones are things like Thanos disappearing from the timeline, or Loki changing, which we know for a fact. We just saw them trim that branch.
Right.
But like that means that that literal universe that we saw the Ancient One talking about protecting, and the whole idea of bringing the stones back came from that conversation. They just murked that timeline. They just reset that timeline, which I see as trimming the branch. You're destroying that timeline. This is a continued war on these other universes.
You think maybe they don't want the
Brian.
variants away from the away from the divine timeline because somebody in like whoever caused the variant or whoever caused the nexus becomes powerful in some way and could eventually maybe like they could come together and defeat them in the multiverse of madness.
Exactly, but I don't think it's a bunch of them, or like I don't think it's about becoming powerful. I think it's about the idea that they're keeping the universes trimmed so that this timeline is the only timeline. So it's the sacred time. So the idea is if any other timelines start to exist and they hit the red line, which I'm assuming is like red line for me, I was assuming is like where it goes too far to trim easily. Not that it's
Right.
too far off of the timeline, but so you let it go too long, and then suddenly, like, here's my thought process. So you got the timekeepers, right? They exist in this timeline. They were birthed of the sacred timeline, I'm assuming. And if that's the case, then if they let another timeline shoot off, another group of timekeepers could be born in that timeline and have differing opinions about which one's the sacred timeline, and that's how you get a multiverse war.
Oh, it's like the oh god, it's like an Invincible when that villain guy makes a clone of himself. They both think that they're the original.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
Yep.
all
Spoiler alert for Invincible.
yeah, I feel like that's in the first episode. That's fine. That's in the first few minutes. Okay. That's it. We got to go. We have spent too much time already. This was supposed to be
you said
15. It's
we
30.
gotta go, and then you were like, "By the way, Jeff, you're wrong."
Well, I can't-
Tangents,
I don't think I was.
tangents this early in the morning are not good for mental health.
I can't just let you be wrong and not refute it.
Before you go, I do want to mention one thing that I appreciated. The criminal with the blue box line
Yes.
was
Yeah.
a blatant Doctor Who reference, which I appreciated. The people that got that, people that wrote it, bravo, French kiss on that one.
Love
I
it.
laughed out loud when I heard that. I'm like, yes.
Chef's kiss.
Yes.
Chef's kiss, not French kiss.
French kiss. Again. I keep looking over because right now in 5 minutes my alarm to wake up is gonna go off. So
Oh no.
Oh, you gotta get 5 minutes of sleep. Get out of here.
Right, yeah.
I snooze it for a bit, but it's still just like I have the alarm going off in the middle of the podcast. So
Well, guys, we're gonna let Brian get his 5 minutes, and we're gonna let you go. This has been the
That's
Marvel
what she
Cinematic
said.
Universe podcast. We'll. Oh man, late night Loki is gonna be fun. Late night Loki is gonna be fun.
6 weeks of this, baby.
we're just getting started.
Oh, okay.
Do I say the thing now?
Real quick, Ancient
I
Ones.
was laughing.
Matthew's saying we went way off the tangent of the Ancient One. I don't think we did, but
We'll circle back.
the
later.
answer is yes. The TVA seems like they have way more power than the Ancient One, and they probably killed her.
Matt, wrap it up.
I'm wrapping it up. I like doing this podcast. You guys have a good night. Peace. Oh, Brian, you want to
Until
promote
next-
anything? Hold on,
God.
Brian,
Yes.
plug something.
Oh yeah.
Like his butt.
We got a new there's a new podcast coming on the network called Source Pages. It's a podcast where we're going to be talking about comics and books that are primers or source materials or continuations of the geeky TV shows and movies we like. So stay tuned for that. Our first book we're doing is Dune, but we're going to be covering some comic primers for the movies and TV shows coming out. So that's all I could think of right now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Source Pages. It's gonna be
Black
fun.
Widow,
Keep an
Deadly
eye.
Origins, right?
Yes. Black Widow Deadly Origins is going to be the first one that's going to release probably sometime next week or before the movie at least.
Ooh, nice. That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh shit.
All right, guys.
Gotta get reading.
That is legit. All we're gonna do. Peace out. We are the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Bye.
Until later today, true believers.
Time for sleep.
Oh, let me say one thing before we stop recording. I'm just gonna say this.
No.
I'm gonna splice it in. By the way, thank you. If you found this podcast for the first time, we are going to be covering Loki exhaustively. We're going to be doing these late night Lokis, short little spurts about what we thought of the show. But tomorrow we'll also be dropping another more thought out episode in the feed. So yeah, follow along. There's also live watches happening at 5 p.m. on Wednesdays, as well as the late night Loki. So check out the links in the show notes. All right, cool. I'll splice that in.
All right.
Time works differently at 3:30 a.m.
Yep. If you guys would export those as MP3s this time and send them over my way, and I'm gonna line them up and do this thing.
Damn it.
Okay, I'm stop recording. Export MP3.
Yeah, export as MP3. That way I can get them quicker, because that's normally the limiting factor. I'm also gonna drop the link. Oh man, what do I do?
I called it Loki knee jerk.
Loki knee jerk.
It's
good.
Knee jerk reaction.
I get it. I get it. I'm dropping the link in the chat if anybody wants to join us on Zoom for a few minutes. I'm gonna get to editing real fast, but if anyone wants to, feel free.
I think glutton for punishment, I would think.
But I
I guess we're all. I mean, this will probably be good for the people that are like in Europe that never get to do the other stuff because they're like, late night for you guys. It's friggin' almost tea time here now.
Yeah.
Truth. All right, so the YouTube and the Twitch have the Zoom link if anybody wants to hop on. Come on, join us. What's up, Jeff?
He said tea time. He said it's almost tea time over here.
That was very funny.
My brain worked. I was talking with in one of our groups for the Midwest Pandas. We got Katie and James Hewings, Yoda Hugh on it, and he just he's in on a holiday right now.
West.
Nope. Well, a lot of people aren't because they just realized how much fun we were that they always wanted to keep. Actually, there's a lot more people in it than just the Midwest. You guys hear that? It's my alarm going off.
I don't even know about this group, this Midwest Pandas group. I want to be in the Midwest Pandas
I guess
group.
I'm already awake, so.
Man,
this
you got up before you.
that's not how time's supposed to work.
All right. Well, no one's what's happening? No one's joining the Zoom call. This is a first, guys.
Could be that it's fucking 4 a.m, Matt.
Yeah. Also, we only have 5 people watching now. A lot of people dropped out already, so I guess it's over. I just wanted to let people have the chance to hop on if they felt like it. And since I've got to wait on these files anyway, I'm gonna be sitting here.
My MP3's already up.
Oh, nice.
I'll send you the Dropbox link here in a second, and then I'm gonna try to get like an hour of sleep.
Awesome. Thanks, bud. And I'm gonna edit these things, and then I'm gonna go to bed like 5 a.m. Woo! All right,
Sounds
guys.
good.
I'm gonna shut down the stream. Bye, guys.